Before we go any further, we would like to remind you of the following firearm safety rules. They are: always point your firearm in a safe direction. Always make sure that your firearm is unloaded. Always keep your finger off the trigger until you're ready to shoot. Okay, so without further ado, we're going to clean this puppy and break out our handy dandy microfiber cloth. Again, I'm always going to recommend that we look at the BT 101 kit for a very simple cleaning kit. This one is going to have a lot of stuff that you would need to get the cleaning started. 2-ounce serving of our solvent, 2-ounce serving of our Battle-Born oil, green microfiber cloth, mil-spec bristle brush, and 2 sample packets of our Battle-Born grease folded up inside of the little cloth. Anything after that, you can always buy any hardware. We sell kits online as well that are a little bit more in-depth, like our Lock U kit, our long gun operators cleaning kit, universal. So this is our universal kit. You're gonna notice, compared to our other videos, we had a kit that was a pull-through kit. Well, this one is a rod kit. You're gonna see right there, we have 6 stainless steel rods, and we also have a little pouch that holds the cleaning brush as well. So you can actually pull this off and put it off to the side while you're putting everything together. Obviously your patches, like with the pull-through kit, and your hardware, like with the pull-through kit. The biggest difference here is gonna be the handle is different. Obviously, we're working with cable, or I'm sorry, not cables, we're working with stainless steel rods. This is where I want to bring attention to what makes our cleaning kits different on top of what makes our technology different. So the industry norm for a while has been aluminum rods. They're fairly cheap. People do them because they want to hit a certain price point on their kits so they can push them through to the consumer at a better price point value. Sometimes cheap is not necessarily the best. I think it goes hand in hand with the old saying for electronics, you know,
you get what you pay for.
You get what you pay for. And I've seen a lot of bent rods throughout the years. You know, this one, machined stainless steel, machined threads. If you don't want it to twirl around, right here on this side, there's a little tensioning tab, and it's not twirling around now. And now I can just add rod after rod after rod. Now with 6 rods, I think the full size of this comes out to about 36 inches. That's really important for a lot of these hunting shotguns that have longer barrels, like some of the semi-autos that I have next to me, which I'll come out to. I think this one will be a 3 rod operation.
There's no use putting in more rods than you need, because then kind of makes the tool a little unwieldy.
Yeah,
harder to operate.
I agree. I think with 3 we'll get the job done. What do you think, Jerry? Also keep in mind, by the time you put an extension on there, it's a pretty long setup anyway. So I draw your attention again to the hardware that we use. Brass construction, but with hard plastic bristles. Like I've said before, the reason we use these instead of brass, these last a lot longer as far as the bristles. They're not as brittle, they won't poke you, and they won't leave that weird color exchange. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you'll see it 100%, especially when it comes to shotgun barrels. You're really gonna, with a bigger brush, you're really gonna start seeing that copper exchange. All right, we're gonna get the step down now for the 12 gauge brush. And that's what you see right here. It's gonna connect right here, and then connect to the rod. Now remember what I said before, that you're gonna have a longer extension than what you already bargained for. So that's what Jerry was saying. You had too many of these rods, and it's like you're trying to wield Excalibur just to clean an 18-inch barrel. So you already have a step down extension and the brush itself. So one of the ways to do this, especially with this 16-ounce pump version of the solvent, this is one of the few times, see if you can get this here, that I'd recommend spraying down the barrel and just letting it run down. Why? It's kind of a messy technique with this one, but there's going to be a lot of lead accumulation with a shotgun. Remember, it's shot shells, and most of them are lead, and it gets pretty messy. Why? Because with heat and friction, lead is very malleable. It starts really breaking down. So you want it to kind of go in there, do a nice coating on the inside of the barrel. Remember, this stuff is pH neutral. It's not going to hurt anything. If anything, now you're cleaning the entire barrel inside and out. And this one has not been cleaned in about a year. I gotta be honest with you. So I'm tempted to see what the hell we're gonna pull out of here. So
the good thing is that since you had used the breakthrough product before, it's not as caked up as it normally would have been if it was on bare metal.
True. Good
Because
point.
it gives that little coating.
Good point. And another point right here is we have a Tritium front sight from Trigicon. This is the 3-dot system that they have that I put on the shotgun here. You can see, I think they're the track lock sights. That was a partnership between
Cheap
them
sight.
and Wilson Combat, I want to say. But the reason why I say that is it's irradiated gas that's trapped. It's self-luminous. However, it's unicorn farts in there. Okay, to be honest with you. But the biggest thing about it is our solvent's not going to go out there. It's not going to mess anything up. If there was any paint on there, it's not going to break it loose. It's not going to hurt anything, and it's not going to fog up the glass. So keep that in mind. So important thing that we're talking about, the front sight, it's not going to mess it up. All right, to sum that up. So now that we've let the solvent stay in there for a while, we're going to go kind of. Now I know what some of you are thinking. Oh my God, he's going back and forth. Well. Tell them why it's not important, Jerry.
Yeah. With the shotgun, it's not important because there's no rifling inside the barrel. It's pretty much a smooth bore. So you're not going to damage anything or do anything to the inside there.
Yeah, so if you had quarter MOA with the shotgun before the video started,
you'll have quarter MOA still.
Yeah. So now the reason why I'm trying to go in there and you see it flying, let's come on over, see if you can look at the top of the tabletop. Now that's why I was going back and forth. That's all lead, friend. Okay? You could see how much was broken off with this solvent. That's why I let it sit in there for a little bit and it broke it loose.
You could even see it on there.
Yep, you can see it right there.
You want to close up on the porting?
I told you this thing hadn't been cleaned in a year. I wasn't lying. And I kind of peppered my friend here with with the lead.
Thank you very much.
But you can kind of tell right there, and it's pushing them through those ports. That's why I'm going back and forth. That's what I recommend that you folks do. If you get a chance. Again, this is not a rifle barrel, so calm down. And that's another reason why we don't use brass brushes. Look at how that's flying out of there. Alright? I still, with a little bit of elbow grease, I can get everything out of that barrel and not have to worry about it. Now you precision guys, you're probably having heart attacks right now because I'm removing lead fouling from a barrel. Well, I'm not trying to hit 1,000 meters with this, so it's fine. Yeah. But for a shotgun, it could actually kind of get thick over a while, and actually, you don't want to apply too much lead down a barrel where you're either going to clog up these ports or so much on the inside that it might obstruct anything. So I'm going to come with my little trusty brush. I'm going to spray a little bit more on the outside. I'm kind of going heavy-handed here because I haven't cleaned this barrel or the shotgun in a year.
A little lead fouling on a precision rifle doesn't hurt it too much, but on a shotgun it could change the pattern of it, especially when the shot is coming out the end.
Yeah, because it's individual BBs. You got to keep that in mind. So even though there's a wad behind it that's kind of guiding it, and shotgun ammo technology has come a long way with flight control wads and stuff like that. You never know. So why run the risk? We want a clean barrel. That's what we're trying to do. Mission accomplished. We're going to have a follow-up video on precision guns, so please stay tuned for that. We're going to grab this rag now and clean the outside first. You can get a better look at the ports and the front. Look at that. Alright. So now what are we going to do? We knocked all that stuff loose on the inside. Not a problem. By now it would have been bleeding if this would have been brass.
and you notice the brush still has the same shape because the nylon will return back to the actual shape.
Has memory.
It has memory, whereas some of your brass brushes or your stainless steel brushes, if you put a little too much pressure on one side or the other, the brush is going to get all brush is going to get all deformed.
Yep. Good point. So I'm going to grab one patch. I'm going to run it through. Everybody has their own way of running it, but as long as the patch is in there and you can go through. Look at that. That was just one pass. So obviously this was dirty. And obviously the breakthrough did a good job of getting it clean. A little bit of elbow grease goes a long way, guys. A lot of folks ask me, is our product a copper solvent? Not by design. Copper solvents tend to be very toxic. They tend to prematurely wear and tear certain parts. A good example would be any type of surface coatings that are sitting on the outside of the gun. As you saw, I'm spraying to only really clean the inside of the shotgun, but it's kind of getting all over the place. It's liquid, it's gonna run. So keep that in mind for any surface finishes that you're trying to protect or you're spending your hard-earned money on. A copper solvent, yeah, it might do a really good job of cleaning the copper out. It's also maybe gonna mess up your finish.
Yeah, some of your gold and silver inlaid type guns, it'll loosen them up. So
when you usually see them on the packaging and on the retail floor, some of this stuff is coming in two-part packaging. That way, if it breaks inside of one of them, the other one will contain it. That should tell you everything you need to know about some of those products. So we'll leave that right there. So that's enough for the barrel. Right, we're going to put that off to the side. And if I can grab the action bars, Jerry. Thank you, sir. Spray, spray.
These with a nice little wipe down, you really don't have to get too much in there with a brush.
Yep.
If you do, you've waited too long to clean your shotgun.
Yep. This should be the most free-flowing part of the shotgun. So a little wipe down there and anywhere else that you want. Maybe on the outside. This forend, the buttstock and the pump handle were made by Hogue. This is possibly one of the most inexpensive yet all weatherproof, all intents and purposes all the way around, one of the best handguard buttstock combos that you're going to find. Relatively inexpensive. And even though I've beaten just the snot out of the shotgun, it still has a good grippy feeling. Yep. And a good example, let's say I want to clean the outside, you ruined that rubber. Well, technically a lot of these rubbers could get messed up with different solvents. With ours, like I mentioned before, seeing how it's pH neutral, I'm going to rub this around in there, and you're going to notice all the crap it's going to pull off the surface. Why? Because, look at that. It's been sitting in the closet or in a bag or in my truck or on the floor at the range or what have you, right? That's why you pick this type of furniture. The problem with rubber like this, it starts breaking down when you start using different solvents on it. Ours won't do that. And look at all the crap. That's all sweat, oils off my hand, that's dirt off the floor, that's everything else. Not that you need to, but if you'd like to, you know that you can. And it's not going to mess anything up. You can tell these are going bad when they start getting gummy. When these start feeling gummy, that means that the rubber is starting to break down. It's going to happen with different solvents. That I can promise. Well,
so another thing you want to do with these, since you have it apart already, you want to make sure the fit is tight. Okay, because now's the time when it's taken apart, it makes it a little easier to get that tool in there and to tighten up that forend. There's nothing like trying to run your shotgun when your forend is moving and it's pinching you on the breech.
That is a perfect maintenance tip right there. Remember, maintenance doesn't just mean cleaning and lubing your gun. It means looking at certain things while you're going along the way. Certain
checking for wear and checking that the spring and everything else is even. If you notice here, the spring lays flat. If it has a kink in it, it's usually time to change it up.
Or if there's any broken pieces, like inside of this carrier, you know, this is kind of a floating firing pin. It could be cracked in half, and you'd be none the wiser. So it's little things like that you want to keep an eye on. It's more than just cleaning stuff off. Remember that, guys. There's certain wear items on the inside of your gun that need replacing. We'll touch that on some of the other videos, like the one for the AR-15. That's a big one. There's actually rings and rubber extractor rings on the inside of the bolt alone that wear down after a certain round count. So keep an eye out for that. All right, as you can see, I've cleaned the bolt assembly, the little carrier on the bottom. I'm putting that how it's supposed to be put off to the side. Let me grab this receiver now. That's some of that lead that's still on there from before. Now, you can go real crazy getting in here. It all depends on how much of a deep clean you want. You can actually collapse these brushes down to just one if you wanted to. Do this, put a smaller brush on here, and start hitting some of the finer points inside of here just to get some debris out, which you might get. I'm not going to do that for the purposes of the video, so I'd rather do a quick wipe down for what I can see and on the inside. I'm going to go in here, places that I can actually reach. Keep one thing in mind, another thing you could do is with these rods, you could put the brush back on them, right?